You get a message on an encrypted app. No name, just a time and an address in Midtown Manhattan. On the 14th floor, a man in a sharp gray suit explains the job to you in exactly 4 sentences. He represents people who want certain experiences removed. This is a psychological demolition, performed without medical or surgical intervention. The first client arrives composed, wearing expensive perfume, but her hands are visibly shaking. She hands over a specific location, a specific person, and a specific weekend. You avoid asking why. Your job is to restructure the architecture of her memory while keeping the trauma's origin intentionally obscured. Factual events remain locked in the brain. The procedure focuses entirely on the feelings attached to them. Looking at this diagram, a central factual event is bound to these bright red emotional responses. Using guided regression, you sever those exact connecting lines. The central memory shrinks into harmless background noise. The event stays, but loses its weight. You leave the office with an envelope of cash. That night, you don't sleep. Not out of guilt, but because of a strange, total absence of feeling. The procedure functions as a mechanical neutralizer, removing the emotional cost of holding a memory without actually healing the underlying trauma. Over the next 4 months, the fee jumps to $15,000 a session. An invisible referral network whispers your name across dinner tables in the Hamptons. Then, one evening, a client breaks protocol. Mid-session, he starts describing the event unprompted. You listen. He describes a ruthless business decision he made, one that ruined multiple lives and shuttered entire local economies. The profile of your waitlist has shifted. The chairs are now filled by the architects of damage, seeking to walk away from the wreckage they created. These clients seek your services because their own conscience has become a business inconvenience. You have begun commodifying the erasure of guilt for those who can afford a clean slate. The man in the gray suit returns with an upgrade, $45,000 a session. Clients with names you recognize from the headlines, accompanied by private security personnel who wait outside the door. At this legacy level, the stakes shift entirely. The guilt you are hired to dissolve could end careers or unravel marriages and tank corporate deals worth hundreds of millions. In Geneva, you quiet the memory of a meeting preceding a market collapse. Your work is now a safeguard for cross-border deals and international assets. The realization brings a new kind of paranoia. You go home, open a notebook, and start logging initials, dates, and session fragments as an insurance policy. But the next contract you sign is a 12-page document demanding legacy-level discretion. It legally compels you to bury every piece of proprietary information under threat of total ruin. You lock the notebook in a storage unit in Queens. You have become a permanent piece of infrastructure, maintaining the stability of elite corruption. 6 months later, the walls close in. A former client complains his memories are returning. A journalist publishes a precise article on elite psychological services, and a new client asks deeply suspicious questions about your documentation systems. Urgent. Panicked, you drive to your storage unit in the middle of the night. The door is unlocked. The insurance notebook is gone. 2 polite men show up at your apartment and place a thick manila folder on your kitchen table. Inside are your tax documents flagged in red, your medical license, and a partially redacted transcript of a session you thought was entirely private. They don't threaten you. They simply state that certain people would be very uncomfortable if your work became public. The unspoken ultimatum is clear. Continue the memory erasure quietly and keep 0 records. The elites, who spent decades mastering how to make problems disappear, have successfully integrated you into their system as a managed asset. There is a hidden law to this trade, a psychological conservation of memory. This diagram illustrates how the process actually works at the terminal point. As the central vault icon absorbs those heavy data points from the periphery, you see exactly what happens to every dissolved memory. The Geneva deal, the weekend, the crying heir. None of it evaporates. You absorb it. You exist as a captive human vault, carrying every sin you were paid to remove. The exit has been closed, but the ultimate trap isn't the blackmail or even the money. It's the unshakable addiction to sitting in a dark room and watching the physical weight leave a person's face. True absolute power at that level is the ability to buy a clean conscience, to offload the psychological weight of your actions onto someone else, someone who has to carry it home perfectly every single time.